Hi, I'm Bob,
And I'm Sherry.
and this is Mostly Politics with Bob and Sherry.
We're once again interviewing Veronica Steinkirchner. She has just won the election for her local committee, and now she's running to be the vice chair of the Republican Committee of Allegheny County. Welcome, Veronica.
Oh, hi. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, the first interview we did with you was great because it was very informative. So we're
It
looking
was a
forward to this
teaching,
one.
yeah, pretty much it was a teaching video. But you know what? Before we start, I want to thank everybody who ran to be a PC, precinct committee man. And I use the term committee man as it is in the dictionary, a member of a committee. I'm old school. If anybody read Bill O'Reilly's book, Old School, I fit into that category. So in the first time I ran, I had just had rotator cuff surgery. So I went out and got my 10 signatures in the freezing rain, and I couldn't wear a coat. So I thought I looked like George Washington at Valley Forge. But this is the certificate everybody should have who ran and who got the announcement. And the nice thing is you have voting powers, and that's what we're going to be talking about. You have the right to elect county leadership, which is going to change the whole party from the inside out.
Okay, so what does the vice chair of the RCAC do?
Well, funny thing, these are the bylaws, and all it says is the vice chair shall assist the chair and shall, in the event of a vacancy in the office of chair, act as chair until a new chair has been elected in accordance with these rules. The vice chair shall be a member ex officio of all committees other than local committees. So there's no job description. And actually, that's something that a lot of people talk about, that the bylaws are like Swiss cheese. There's a lot of holes, and there has to be some definition. There is a wonderful committee woman who has done that in her work. She said, wherever I worked, there were always job descriptions. So I think if I win, I would call on her to write job descriptions because she knows how to do it. She's done it, and I think that that's something addition to the bylaws, the systems and procedures. We all know wherever we work, there was such a thing. So they're just they're just isn't a description.
So what do you think, if there's no description, what do you think if you so be elected as a vice chair? What kind of things do you want it to do, and what do you think a vice chair should be doing?
Well, I think well for me, the precinct strategy is very important. I have learned from the best. Dan Schultz has endorsed me for precinct and state committee, and he has it all down. He created the precinct strategy. So I think it's important to work with the committees, and my goal would be collaboration, communication, and coordination so that the committees will then work together and helping one another. I mean, I go to a lot of other committees and sit in, meet with them, and I see some are better than others. And I'm not faulting anybody, but it's a daunting task to be a chair, thrown into something that you don't really know what it's all about. So the committees need organization, just like any business, and they need to learn from one another. I would like maybe think everybody in the East could meet often, and people in the North, not a coalition, but they could meet and brainstorm and share things. Because right now, I haven't seen a whole lot of scheduled meetings by the RCAC where people feel they can come and share their views and learn from others. So that probably is the most important thing to me.
And what motivated you to run for this position? And what experience do you think you will bring to the organization?
Well, as I said, I am an avid fan of the precinct strategy. And I love being a committee person, committee woman, don't go that. And I encourage others. I mean, I think the only way you get other people to become committee people is to sit across the kitchen table with them. Say, hey, I've been doing this. It's really fun. We really all need to help because, as you know, National Republican Committee is only half full. So shame on America, but I say shame on Allegheny County because it's only a third full. And it's the grassroots people that have done it. But I'm running for the vice chair position because people across the county have come to me and said, we want to change in the establishment. We would like another person to run. It's kind of been one person runs, so that person always wins. I was really happy to, accommodate them. I've had relationships with a lot of other committees, and it's nice that they ask you. I think it's a vote of confidence saying, we want you, because they did the same thing for the county at large seat. Because I was already running for District 43 State Committee, which I won. So I am a state committee man, and my vote is equal to the person who is the at-large state committee person. But my work experience over the last 50 years, I was catering manager for Hyatt Hotels and catering director for the Hilton. Hyatt came to town. They were new. That was back in the 70s when touch of Hyatt was the phrase. And I got a call saying, we hear you're the best in town. We need somebody to help put this new hotel together. Will you join us? So I said, yes. Now, in doing that, I have a lot of organization, attention to detail. You take somebody's vision and make it a reality, whether it's a meeting, a conference, a wedding. You create the actual end result. I also worked for Xerox Corporation. I was an area salesperson, and Xerox actually is the gold standard in sales training. They develop PSS, professional selling skills. And you go to their campus in Virginia to be trained for a week. And it's really Spartan surroundings. I mean, you get a little room with a cot, essentially, like an old school dorm. But they're so good at their selling skills that other companies have hired Xerox to train their people. But the bulk of my work life was as a financial advisor and managing clients' money. So, the important thing there is always doing the right thing. You have fiduciary responsibilities. But when people come to you to talk about their money, they tell you everything. I don't want my son-in-law to get a dime, blah, blah, blah. But they come with fears, and concerns. The most important thing, my health, my wealth, and right now it's my vote. So protect my health, protect my wealth, and please protect my vote, which is certainly in the mainstream today and important to everybody. So, my daughter said, well, I would describe you as very regimented. I said, all right. She said, you just, focus, get it done. I mean, my daily life, I get up about 5 naturally, and I feed the critters, take my dog out, do my gardening, and then I read, and I get in touch with people I know across the country who are also politically active. So by 11, I'm ready to go on to my next phase. I do work part-time, so my schedule is very flexible. So I do have the time to devote, and I think a lot of the skills that I've developed over the years to make a contribution.
So people think that, or have thought that you were running with Doug Austin. but I guess he said that you guys are not running together. He doesn't support you. Do you
Well,
support
he does
anyone?
support
Is
me. He
there
wants me to win. I'll
what's
tell you
that?
that. But I met with Doug initially when we were all talking to him about you should run, you should run. So I was in the planning process. I do go out. I speak on his behalf if he can't be at a meeting, and I am the keeper of the petitions. I've been getting them signed, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to the RCAC this afternoon to deliver mine as well as his. But that whole concept of slate makes no sense because this is not a slate election. You don't cast one vote and vote for three people. And it's like it's a la carte dining. So let's say you go to Ruth's Chris for dinner and you will order an appetizer separate, a salad separate, and your entree separate. So you go home, you've spent a pretty piece of money, but you say, wow, what a great dinner. It was well worth the money. The alternative is you go to a joint and you order the blue plate special that probably is a hot roast beef sandwich with bread, meat, gravy, carrots, all mushed together. And then you say, I don't think that was so great. So that's like the contrast between what the election really is and what the election is assumed. And as I look at the slates, I mean, we all advised Doug, it's you run on your own. And I wasn't running when he started. I was asked to run after the fact. So I've been essentially working to get him elected. But as I look at the slates, the people that call themselves a slate, I see one that is an arrogant person who believes he is worthy of an entourage. Then I see the other one that looks like a weak, inexperienced candidate who needs support and people to get him over the finish line. So, I've always worked independently. That is kind of the mantra of salespeople. It's you and the client, and it's all on you. So, we're running, but we're not a slate. But I got endorsements for state committee, and I got certainly one from my favorite guy, Dan Schultz, with Precinct Strategy. So I can call him anytime and talk about things, ask questions. I'm on a weekly conference call with Network America, and it's committee people across the country discussing issues, what policies, what's going on politically in their area, and then we brainstorm. Now, I did not have an endorsement simply because it's his rule not to endorse in the primary, and committee people are elected in the primary, which is really our general. But a very close friend of mine, Mike Kelly, we grew up together, and I said, Mike, give me a little shout out, and he said, well, I don't endorse in the primary. As a matter of fact, somebody came to me and asked me, and I said, I don't endorse. I didn't even know the guy. But here's what he wrote. Dear Veronica, thank you for reaching out regarding your run for Pennsylvania State Committee. I can appreciate the amount of work and time that goes into getting your name on the ballot. You should be very proud of this accomplishment. While I do not endorse during the primary, I do understand and support your positions. Over the years of knowing you, I have always found you to be a true champion of conservative values. Your passion for our freedoms and values has always been apparent in everything you do. Having known you for so long, I know that not only are you staunchly pro-life, but also a protector of our Constitution. From the Second Amendment rights to election integrity, your commitment to our party and our country is always apparent. Good luck in your upcoming race, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. All the best, Mike Kelly. We've known each other since we were kids. So, although it's not an endorsement, I'd say it's a vote of confidence. And there is one stellar individual.
Now, in 2020, and this is probably you're very well known that you have revived the Oakmont Republican Committee and have led the committee through the 2021 election. Please tell us about that experience and the things you've done and implemented.
Well, first of all, I didn't revive the committee. It was Carrie Del Rosso that reached out to her, contacts to say, let's get the party together. Because I think and I just moved here from Fox Chapel to Oakmont, so I really didn't know anybody. But I would say she was the person who did all that. And it seems maybe that some people wanted to get involved in the committee because they were running for election, and they were confusing what the committee does and what a campaign does. So it's important for the committee to get out the vote on election day, deliver literature, but you need people. So if all the people you have are running for office, you really don't have any volunteers. And the key is get people involved in the committee, and they need to be motivated to help. What I did, since I was new, I called RCAC leadership and I said, how can I help these people? So, we had several conversations, and I received electronic study guides on how to become a candidate, how to start a campaign, because I was told, you do not run a campaign. Then I was also referred to the county treasurer, the county committee treasurer, who explained, finance reporting and who does what. And really an additional thing, I met a long conversation with a man who ran a very successful campaign out in Moon Township. And he explained to me how he got started, how he, got his financing together. So although I wasn't experienced, I've never been a campaign manager, and there again, the committee's not your campaign manager. I went to the people that I knew had the answers. So that's what I learned. And there again, I went straight to the top to find out, what it was all about, and I got expert advice.
So, a chair and a vice chair of local political committee main function is to recruit candidates, fundraise, and get the candidate of their party elected to office. If you win the vice chair, what are some of the plans that you have to recruit candidates and, also fundraise?
Well, the fundraising essentially is overseen by the chair. It's like if you are chairman of a nonprofit, you are the rainmaker. You're the person essentially who has the contacts. And in the bylaws, it says certainly the vice chair assists the chair in everything that he does. The key to getting candidates, I think, is to know people and is to reach out to other committees saying, who do you know? Who's in your community that we can vet and talk to? And using sources like FreedomWorks, the largest grassroots organization in the country. They actually will train people to run for school board. Why reinvent the wheel? They'll come in, they'll help recruit, and there again, rely on the experts. Don't flounder and try to figure it out yourself. So there again, my whole thing is be involved in the other committees, and I always have been from the start. I was lucky to work on the Trump campaign, where I met a lot of committee people that are active, because I always laugh. We somehow end up at the same events. We're the people that go. And I said, well, here we are again, all riding a different bus, but ending up at the same bus stop. In doing that, I got like a lot of dialogue, because I'll give you an example of how I'm happy to help anybody. I truly am. I got a call. Someone was frantic saying, we have a candidate coming into town like tomorrow. And the venue that was going to be used, it's off. The host was told, no, they can't, they shouldn't do it. Can you help me? So within 24 hours, I got a location, got the place decorated, got everybody, directed, and did it. And there again, I'm happy to help anybody who needs help and ask me. I'm easy that way. I'm happy to do that.
You ran for state committee at large, and you did well. You got a lot of votes. You didn't win, but you posted on social media, mission accomplished. What was the mission?
Well, number one, mission was accomplished. I was elected to state committee, District 43. And the mission was to the people who asked me to vote. I walked into a luncheon one day and everyone said, will you run for state committee at large? I said, well, I'm already running in my district. No, that doesn't matter. You can do both. I said, well, all right. I'm happy to accommodate you. So the mission, there again, are committee people across the county unhappy with the status quo and the establishment saying, we need another candidate. So those folks actually went out and got my petition signed for me because I was busy doing my district. And I ended up with twice as many signatures as was needed. And I got 13,000 votes. So I took them away from somebody. And for the first time, they were happy because I actually helped them out because these people wanted somebody else. And that's who I was working for on that at large, my friends and associates.
Okay.
So what you're saying is your involvement in a state committee at large race the purpose was taking vote away from someone that they don't want. Okay.
Yeah. But the county has this at-large seat simply because of the population. So that one at-large seat can be a man or a woman. But in my district, there are, in the Senate district, 2 men and 2 women. So my vote is equal to the at-large vote. And I don't know if you win both, whether you get to vote twice. I don't know that. But
no. Do you want to win this vice chair, or this race is also taking vote away from somebody?
No.
You do want to win.
It's not. It's not taking votes away from somebody. It's running for a cause and a purpose to help revitalize the committee and have a change in the establishment and the status quo. So, to run unopposed, what's the purpose? It's not the American way. And there again, people ask me, and I don't want to let them down. I want to accommodate them, and I want to win because I know what they want, and we all, as a group, knowing one another, want the same thing.
Does the RCAC right now have an advisory board of people that the chair or the vice chair can go and talk to, or how does that work? Or just the chair, vice chair to make all the decisions?
She helps me. This
Oh,
is
hi,
my
Kitty.
advisor.
Hi, Kitty.
Well, if you read the bylaws, there are a lot of additional people that are in the leadership role. It's any elected official in the county and the state, but I don't know how much those people are relied on, or even if they all meet together. But it's in the bylaws that there are other people. So however that's structured, I've never seen it in full force or operation.
So can you encapsulate, like an elevator speech, what makes you the best candidate for vice chair? Good point. Well, I am putting out my resume because there are people asking. I want to see everybody's resume. As I know, the only person that put one out yet is Doug Austin. So I have to dust mine off because I haven't applied for a job in a long time. I'm retired. I work part-time at Barnes & Noble and part-time at Nordstrom because I've always worked. I can't not work. My sister is the same way. I guess We're from the same mold. We're like our parents. But, you know, I can bring a lot of work experience. My interactions with customers and clients has made me able to develop skills to listen and to get results. But, I'll leave you with a little story. I was a founding member in a very, very well-known and successful private investment company here in Pittsburgh. And the founder was an incredible man. He was a rainmaker. He could fill up a room with 200 people who are coming to hear him talk about money and finances. And he did that a lot. But there were some meetings where we're all like, what's he doing? He would get up and read poetry and talk about his wife, how much he loved her, and blah, blah, blah. And even doing that, 90% of the people wanted to come in the next day to become a client of the firm. And I ask you why? Well, the simple word is trust. They trusted him, knowing how he did business. I mean, one of our, as we would do investments, would you do this with your own money? And the other thing, I work at Nordstrom and I work at Barnes and Noble, and it's really fun for me because you get to find out. I mean, I can identify. I don't profile people, but I can see the book they're bringing up. I really can know them. But there's a really popular series out by Lee Child, and it's Jack Reacher. And he created this character in Jack Reacher who is a big guy, like he was even huge as a kid. And I tell you, in the movie, that was a bad casting for him. But although he kicked ass, essentially, with the bad guys, but he always remembered what his mother taught him, as well as his brother, is always do the right thing. So I am asking for everybody's vote. I would like to be vice chair. I can certainly make a contribution. But what I'm really asking is you vote for the candidate that you trust will always do the right thing.
Now, there are 3 people running as chair.
Yes. No, there's
Do
4.
you
Well,
feel that you can work with any one of them?
there's 4 people running for chair. And
4?
well,
Uh,
3 will be on the ballot
one
because
dropped out,
Tony
isn't it?
Moreno, after sending out an email to everybody with a letter that his wife got from leadership, which was quite shocking to me that anybody would talk that way, but he dropped out and made the announcement the other night at the Dormont meeting that he is supporting Doug Austin. So somebody asked me that at a meeting, like, well, if you're not on a slate, how do you work with the other person? But if you have this slate, who's to say the people that you're running with are even going to get elected? But I would say it's simple. I mean, when you work in a corporation, people come and go. Managers come and go, but you have to work with everybody. It's not hard. It's not hard if your focus is to do the right thing and support the committees, help them grow, whoa, kitty, we got another kitty moving the computer, the big one. So I would never have a problem. I've worked in enough business environment that change occurs, and you work with the person that is assigned or whatever the case is.
Okay. Any other questions?
No. Anything else you'd like to say that we haven't asked?
No, today's the big day though, because we're all turning in our petitions, and then later in the day we all go to the RCAC where they will be, picking lots for where we are on the ballot. But my name's so long, I don't care where I am. It doesn't really matter.
What time is that, Veronica? What time are they picking the
5:30.
slots? 5:30? Is that everybody welcome to go, or?
Why not? It's the home of all the committee people, and the committee
Okay.
people are the RCAC. It's not the other way around. So I can't see why people would not be allowed to observe. What we are hoping is at the election, people get to observe. That's the key.
Okay. I just got assigned by Bob to go.
I said she should go. I have a lot of editing to do.
He has a lot of work.
She should go and report.
I would do live
Oh, yeah,
streaming.
that would be.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. That would be fun. You'll see everybody. You'll see all the candidates.
Okay.
There we go. All right. Well, thank you,
Oh,
Veronica.
thank you both
This was
so
fun.
much.
It's always fun doing this
It is
with you.
fun. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, and you two
Yeah.
are doing a great thing. You're helping.
Well,
Thank you.
thank
Helping
you.
the
Thank you
public.
very much. And now I know why you throw the best parties. You're a catering manager.
Ooh, professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a professional.
My daughter's taking the
so-
reins on that. She's becoming a really good cook and a great gardener.